Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Sunday afternoon comment. My name is Mel Popeye Moss, my co-host Mel O.G. Robbins. We are your hosts each and every week on Texas Biker Radio, but today we've got some stuff we want to talk about because of recent events that have happened. And one thing that's happened in particular, and one thing that has caught everyone's attention, was the traffic stop, Raza Madre chapter. Their chapter members were stopped and profiled going into Ellis County and going to get some barbecue. Now, Mel, I want the Sheriff's Department to know that we have sent in a Freedom of Information Act request for their body cams and their dash cams of that traffic stop. And that traffic stop, I don't think was nothing out of the ordinary, except for maybe the excuse they used to pull them over and profile them. And Mel, that excuse was they were too close to each other.
Well, we all know they're going to pick bullshit items to be pulling people over for supposed traffic stops, just like they fabricate bullshit for search warrants, like I've talked about in the past. And it becomes problematic when they don't even write you a warning ticket. Of course, God forbid what we're talking about here starts triggering a flurry of tickets now, but they make up this crap, and the thing that just keeps coming to mind for me is, when in the hell is everyone going to get pissed off enough to say, I've had enough, stand up and start pushing back?
Yeah. And of course we're going to do just that. But Mel, I find it interesting that since the governor has gone on his rants about the gang task force and to get everybody into my database and that kind of stuff, that this stuff now, these traffic stops, and that's what I mentioned in my request, have gone beyond the scope of what was originally intent of these things. We have the most recent Texas gang assessment report. There was one posted on Facebook and All for One. That's not the most current, because it did not include that I read there did not include the Tier 3 gangs, which there are now Tier 3. And but anyway, the fact that we're running outside of what they call OMGs, because the Raza Madre and the Raza MCs are family-oriented groups. I mean, come on, Mel. I mean, we've been to their events. We've been around them. They're always happy, always glad to meet you. I don't get it, but we're going to find out. We're going to keep digging, and we're going to keep asking for these videos. It's too bad that none of the bikers there took videos, and we keep asking everyone, hey, video your traffic stop for your protection. For your protection, video that traffic stop. Because, Mel, I think there's been so much vilification that's gone on over the years that I think many of these police officers are actually hyped up. They're scared, and they are ready to take some type of action when it's not needed, like we saw in Fort Worth.
Well, the scary part here is the more that this happens, you got some pretty itchy trigger finger law enforcement out there.
Yes.
And the more stops that are made, the more dangerous the environment's going to become for the biking community. As witnessed by the minute they stopped the Raza crew, the first order was, do not put your kickstands down.
Yeah.
Now, for some that's not an issue, and for others it becomes very problematic because they've got a shorter inseam. Their feet are not flat on the ground. They're kind of tippy-toe sometimes. And how long can you sit there on a motorcycle without the kickstand down and remain stable without all of a sudden making a move that could get you shot?
Right. Right.
So, I'm thankful we haven't heard of any major incident yet, but trust me, if this bullshit keeps up, it's coming.
Yes.
It's coming.
Yes. You take a look at the bikers nowadays, you look at the videos like the one Paul just posted, not all bikers are spring chickens.
That's right.
So
You stop your bike, the first thing you want to do is get that kickstand down because, it's just not comfortable sitting there like that. And I didn't hear how long they had to sit there before they could put their kickstands down, but it sounded like it was a while.
Well, I'm going to try to get one of them on here Wednesday night, and maybe he can enlighten us on that. I mean, because when you pull over on the shoulder of the highway or maybe a busy street or something, it gets problematic whether the surface is good enough to just sit there and hold your bike up straight. And then, of course, you've got the problem of the noise of cars whizzing by and your helmet being on. So you're liable to miss a command, and then like Sergeant Steroid in Fort Worth, he goes ballistic.
Oh, yeah. Hell, I forgot to mention that. Not only were they ordered not to put their kickstands down, they were ordered not to remove their helmets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for some, that's not a great issue because they're wearing a skid lid, but there's a lot of us that have started wearing full face, and a lot of times I got my Bluetooth fired up and I'm listening to some tunes as I'm going down the road, so now I got to start making, so I can hear anybody, I got to start making moves to either turn down the volume or get that Bluetooth turned off. And do you want to make that kind of a move with a trigger happy cop standing at your back?
Mel, somebody's not thinking. Somebody's not freaking thinking. 1,000-pound motorcycle, you're supposed to sit there and hold it up straight without maybe on some uneven surface. Then you've got the fact that you have your helmet on, and then by the way, if you do have that Bluetooth working, Mel, you've got to disengage it some way. So they're saying keep your hands on the handlebars. So,
yep, and you can't hear them.
They're creating a situation where a mistake can be made with some hyped up police officer, and this is what the governor's doing. The more he
we
rants,
all know they can skate right past murder because all they have to say is, "I was in fear for my life."
Oh, yeah.
And that seems to be their ticket to paradise.
That's right. That's right. But that traffic stop or profiling stop is it was nothing like happened with the Fort Worth SRT unit, but there are stops where it is like that. That's the reason we encourage everybody to step up like this Raza Madre chapter did and gave us their story. and gave us their
Well,
story. So now we can help out. Now we can seek information from the sheriff's department. And I'm sure their eyebrows are raised now because I sent that Freedom of Information Act request, Texas Freedom of Information Act request, by fax and mail, just to make sure they didn't lose it.
Yep, and I think everybody ought to start requesting that anytime they're stopped.
Yes.
Request that video.
Yeah.
I think another thing we ought to do here, Popeye, is post the link. Now, we've investigated cameras for some time. Something that would be inexpensive for a biker, that would work well. Cameras mounted on your bike don't work well when you're stopped necessarily. But we found the perfect device, takes great video, costs $30, and looks like a fountain pen.
Yep.
Quite frankly, I don't give a shit if the cop can tell it's a camera or not.
That's right.
If he can tell it's a camera, I think that's great. But we ought to post the link on Amazon to get those pens, because everybody out there needs to get one.
Yeah.
Needs to have it charged up. And I mean, it is super simple to operate. You get stopped, all you got to do is press down on the plunger on the top of that pen for 2 seconds, release it, press one more time quickly, and that camera's fired up. And for even the smaller memory cards, they're good for 75 minutes of record time, and it is excellent video. And a great microphone.
And that cost me everything included in the kit. This SD card, the cord, the charging cord, everything, $26.
You betcha.
Yeah, we'll do that. But I do like the Freedom of Information request. I do like doing that for you guys that are kind of worried about that, worried about giving them your name and stuff. Just send the information to me, and I'll take care of it. I like doing it.
Yes, we'll request all those videos for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. It's a good feeling to do that. It's a good feeling.
And it is another form of pushing back.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's kind of putting them on notice, especially when I include it in there. Hey, we're trying to understand why this is going on beyond the scope. And
another thing, Raza talked about, they were asked a ton of questions after they were stopped.
Oh, yeah.
Which you do not need to answer all of those questions. You need to understand, first of all, how to conduct yourself so that you don't become provocative and create a situation. But most importantly, you need to also understand what questions you are required to answer, and what you can say is, I don't need to talk about that.
Right.
And you can say it in a way where they understand that you're telling them it's none of their frickin' business.
Mel,
the way to understand all that information that I just dumped on you is come to the next Texas Coalition of Clubs and Independent meeting up here in Region 2. If you're outside of Region 2, like in Houston and stuff like that, check for your COC in that area. But ours will be on the 17th this month. We're meeting at Southern Junction in Royce City. It's on a Saturday, March 17th. The meeting starts at 2. Southern Junction opens at noon. A lot of guys show up at noon and order some food. You get a beer or two, and we have the meeting. And I will talk to Bill Smith, the attorney, and tell him it is very important to again discuss what we should and should not be answering when these cops start asking questions when we've been pulled over on a traffic stop.
And everybody,
supposed traffic stop.
and everybody drag some independents along. Bring them with you.
You betcha, because listen, they're pulling everybody over.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
they're going to pull over a club like Raza, who's nothing but, they're family-oriented, fun-loving bunch. They don't run around trying to look like hoodlums or anything like that.
Nah.
And, they're even getting pulled over.
Yeah. So it's time to step up. And Mel, one of the ways I knew that, one of the police officers asked them, well, we've never heard of y'all. How long y'all been around here?
That's
And
pretty stupid.
the guy said, well, we live in Ellis County. We've only been here 5 years. So it tells me these guys, they're taking shots in the dark. They don't know who's who. They don't know what in the hell they're doing. They're just stopping people.
And they're setting up dangerous situations.
Exactly. And that's probably the worst thing of it all, is the fact that these are dangerous situations. We are encouraging everybody to make sure when you leave the house on your motorcycle, whether you're wearing a cut or not, make sure you've got everything in order. Make sure you got that M on that your license. Make sure your house is in order, because the chances of you being stopped nowadays are pretty damn high. Especially since they added the kinfolk to the Tier 3 gang list, who are not necessarily required to wear cuts. I understand that's what it says in their bylaws. Am I right there, Mel?
Absolutely. And you know what? Abbott may get desperate enough. He'll add what's known as a Tier 4, 5, and 6, so we can include everybody.
Yeah. What the biker clubs are guilty of is toy runs, riding with each other, and going from one place to the other and partying and drinking a beer.
And standing up for constitutional rights.
That's right. And I have no doubt, Mel, that I'm on a list somewhere. But I've been on
we'll talk about that one.
I've been on a list somewhere for quite some time. Ask the IRS. Where I gently told them to kiss our ass. But that's another story. Everybody, hey, join us at that COC meeting. Also, join us this Wednesday night when we have our next show, 333. It should be posted by 9 p.m. if we record it instead of going live, and then which we usually do. Man, you got anything else you want to add about that?
No, but I'm thinking, too, we could probably bring Bill back on in the next week or two.
We could do that,
talk about these things that we're talking about now, to have him go through that again, because I'll tell you, you can't hear it enough or enough multiple times so that you can remember what it is you're supposed to be doing and not.
Right. I mean, he does have cards and stuff that he can pass out to you when you go to the COC meeting that tells you how to respond when you're pulled over in these situations. But we can also get him on here, and he'll be more than glad to explain to everybody their rights, your rights, when you're pulled over. And as Mel, we've got the Stockyard Stampede coming up March 23rd. The weather's gonna get warmer slowly after this blast we've got here. The temperature starts heading into the 60s and 70s, and I can't wait. I'm tired of the cold, tired of the rain, and so I'm ready for summer. How about you, Mel? Anyway, you guys make sure and attend the Stockyard Stampede, March 23rd, gathering at Strokers at 12 noon. It's 9304 Harry Hines Boulevard in Dallas. And we'll be riding over to the Stockyards at 1 p.m. Oh, and we'll be gathering up with some guys on the west side. This ought to be interesting. This ought to be interesting. But let's keep that on the down low. With that, Mel, you got any final thoughts?
No, that's it for now.
Okay. All right. Everybody, stay warm. And if you're out there, ride safe. Ride safe.